Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Advanced WooCommerce Theme Development. In this tutorial, we are going to learn about how to display the products along with add to cart, and you will have the cart bag icon. As you can see, you can hit cart and the item gets added to the bag, right? And then you also have the pagination here, so we'll learn about how to create the pagination and to display the product information like the image, the price, which one of them have got sale and title, etc. And you'll also have a product link. So everything we're going to learn in this video is going to be customized and from scratch. So this will help you in the WooCommerce theme development when you're working on the customization. Okay, so let's begin then. So this is where we left off from the previous video. What we will do is we'll create a file called frontpage.php because we'd like to display all of the products on the home page. So I'm going to create a file and I'll name it as front-page.php. And in this one, we are going to do front page at package advanced WooCommerce theme. And then over here we'll do get header and then closing PHP tag, and then we're just going to say div with an ID of primary. Okay, and then we also do get footer. That's it. And then inside of this, we're going to have main with the ID of main. Okay, and we'll add some class. So I'm just going to copy paste the class to save some time. Okay, so I'll add the class. And I've pasted the class over here. Great. The next thing we're going to do is create a directory, and we'll name it as front page inside of template path. And inside of this, we'll create a file called products. So this is where our products will stay. This is where our product will live. So products template at package advanced WooCommerce theme. Okay. And then inside of this main, we're going to open a PHP tag and say get template part, and we'll include that template. So it'll be template parts slash front page slash products. Okay, that's it. Now we're going to go into the products now. So go to products. So we will write a WP query. So we'll say the query. We'll say the query equals new WP query. And then we're going to pass some arguments inside of it. So args. And then we'll put the value of the args. We'll put the value of the args on top. And then this will have post type equals products because we're going to be fetching the products. So it'll be product. And then we'll have post per page equals 10 and paged. So we need to get the value of the paged. So I'll say paged equals get query var paged, and if that is available, we're going to get the paged value. Otherwise, we'll set that to 1. Okay, so we're going to pass this page value here. Now what does this get query var does? So if you take a look at it, it retrieves the value of the query variable in the WP query class. So what is the query variable value that we need to know the value of the paged. Okay, so what is this page? So if you take a look at the WP query, if you go to the definition of WP query, if you go to this class, it says that the page is actually the number of the current page. So what page number am I on? Okay, so what page number are we querying the data for? Because this paged value is going to differ depending on which page number you're on. Let's say user hits on the page number 2. So on that page, the value will dynamically change to the number 2. And then what we're going to do is when we are querying, we're going to say that the paged value is 2. So give me all of the posts from page 2. So it's going to give me 10 posts from page 2. So it's going to skip those first 10 records. Okay. And then when it goes to 3, it's going to skip the first 20. So it's going to start from the next 10 records. All right. Now, let's also set the order. Let's keep it descending. So DESC for descending. And then post status. So status would be publish. Okay. And then, so that's going to give me all of the product. So if you check the query, let's see what we get over here. Refresh. There you go. This is our query. And this is our query variable that we have. And you can see that the paged value is showing as 1 over here. And then if you want to know about the post that is showing, so if you go to posts, you can see that you've got all of the posts. So these are all the WooCommerce products, because WooCommerce products itself, WooCommerce products are actually stored into the database as posts with the post type as product. So we are getting all of the products here. In fact, we are getting the 10 products. So if you see, scroll down, yep, you're getting the total 10 products. Okay. If I change this value like hard coded to 2, see what happens. Now we're going to get the next 10 products. Okay, now it doesn't have that many products. I think it's only giving us the 8 after that, because it doesn't have more than, I think, 18 products into the database. So that's why. But you get the idea, right? Okay, that's that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use the result that we're getting, which is the query, to loop through the different products and display them onto the screen, onto the page. So let's do that. So what I'm going to do is I'll say div, and I'm going to say class, oops, and I'm going to say products, and I'm just going to give some of the classes. So it'll be container. In fact, I'll copy the classes, so I'm not going to waste time in copying the classes. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'll copy the classes. We also need to have the heading. So I'll say h2 with the class. Again, I'll copy the class from here, from my pull request that I recently raised. And then this will be products. Okay, and I think I should put that in span because I want to style it differently. Span with the class of main title inner. Let's keep that as products. Okay. Now inside of this, I'm going to first check if the product exists or not. Only then I'm going to display it. So let's do that. So if the query, which is the query, have posts, so it's like a regular WordPress the loop, except that we're using the query over here instead of just have posts, because it's a custom query that we are making. And then inside of this, we'll say div, and then again I'm going to copy the class from here because I don't want to be typing. So I'll copy the class, paste it here, and the next thing I want to do is inside of this I'll do a while loop. So I'll say while the query have posts, and then the post, the query, the post, and then end while, and inside of this I'm going to get the content that we want to display. So rather than making this file long and making it messy, I might as well create a different template and name it as product. Okay, so this is going to be product.php, so that's going to include the product cart. And then I'm just going to say get template part, and it stays inside of template part, so I'll put that there. And then inside of that you have front page, and then inside of that you have product. That's it. Alright, so this is going to get me that template. Alright, so that'll be for the product loop. We also want the pagination, so I'm just going to put the pagination code over here as well. So I'll say pagination, and then I'm going to get total pages. So for pagination, if you've already worked on pagination in different stacks like JavaScript or PHP, you know that you need to know the total pages count to create pagination. So I'll say the query, and inside of the query we have the max num pages information, and that's going to get me the total number of pages. So if you go back and check, if you search, you can see that maximum number of pages is 2. So inside of the query result that we're actually getting, we can get this value of the total number of pages. And again, to make it clean, make it cleaner, I'm going to create a template called pagination and put the code over there for that, so that I can reuse this template later on. So I'll say pagination. Let's close the pagination for now. All I have to do is just include that template. So I'll say get template part, and inside of this is going to be again template parts front page / pagination. Yeah, so pagination, that's fine. I would also need to pass the this total pages inside of this. So the get template part accepts the third parameter as the arguments for the template that you can use inside of your template. The second parameter, I'm going to keep it as null. That's actually the name. In this case, I'm just keeping it. In this case, I don't need the names. That's fine. The argument will always be an array. So let's do an array here, and I'll make it as total pages. So this will be total pages, and then I also need to pass the current page. Okay, so current page equals, so remember current page is actually this, right? So I might as well put information that current page. Okay, so this will be the current page. So all I have to do is pass this current page here, and then we'll deal with the template later, but at least we have the template ready for our pagination when we are going to work on that. So let's continue on the product.php. So I'm going to go head over to product.php, and I'll give a comment like product card template and add package advanced WooCommerce theme. Okay, perfect. You need certain things inside of here. In fact, a lot of things will be available to you. So let's start with the product ID, shall we? So I'll say product ID equals get the ID. So since we are inside of the loop, the get the ID function will work, and we'll get the product ID. Then we are going to get the product object. So I'll say product equals WC get product. So we have a WooCommerce function. So you have to make sure that the WooCommerce plugin is active. So if you haven't already done this, make sure to go to add new, make sure to go ahead and activate the WooCommerce plugin, which is this one basically. And what you could also do is import the WooCommerce products. I'm assuming since you're watching the advanced WooCommerce theme, you would already know how to go ahead and import the product or set up the products in the WooCommerce plugin. So you can install and activate this plugin and then have all of the products. So if you go to products now, you should be able to see all of the products here. So I assume that that is done, and I'll continue further. Alright, so inside of the WC get product, it needs a product ID. So if you go and check the definition, you can see that the main function for returning the products uses WP product factory class. And it's asking for the product, which could be either the post ID or the post object. So we already have the product ID available, so that's what we're going to use over here. And then we also need the image, which is the product thumbnail. So I'm going to say product thumbnail equals get the post thumbnail, and it's going to take two parameters, which is product ID and then also the size. So let's go with medium, shall we? Okay, so you got product thumbnail, we need product title. Product title equals get the title. I could have used this function directly, but I just like to keep everything as one place and just use it at the bottom. So product title, we need the product excerpt, do we? I don't think we need the excerpt, it's fine. We need the product link. So get the permalink, because it's just a post, so you can get the permalink, which will take you to the single product page. Then you need the sale price, because remember we want to show any discount if it's available, and you want to show the discount percentage. So we'll go for the sale price equals product, and then we can get sale price. So inside of the product we can call this function. So this basically returns so this will return the WC product class, and that class is going to have a method available. So this is going to return the class, and this class is going to have a method called get sale price. So if you see, you have this get sale price, and you can it returns the product sale price. So you can see that this is the WC product abstract class. So we got the sale price. Then we're going to check if the product is on sale or not. So is product on sale equals product is on sale. So this product class again also has a function that checks whether or not the product is on sale, whether there is an offer on that product. So this will return true basically if the product is on sale. Okay. Now after that we can also check if product is in stock. So is product in stock. So again, the product class that we have, it's not the product object, it's the product class we have. We also have something called get. We also have something called is in stock. So again, if you go and check, this returns whether or not a product can be purchased, so whether it's in stock or not. So we'll get that information because we don't want to show the product card if the user can't purchase it, right? Then we will need to know the product price. So we can get the product price using get price HTML. See? Alright, so this returns the price in HTML format, which is what we want. Then we also need to know the discount percent. So discount percent equals, if not empty, sale price. If sale price is not empty, then float vol regular price. Let me put that in the bracket. Okay, we also have to get the regular price, right? We've got the sale price, but we haven't got the regular price. So let's get that. Regular price equals product get regular price. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to say regular price minus sale price divided by 100, because we want to calculate the percentage. Alright, and then if that is empty, then just return 0, which means there's no discount on that particular product. Okay, so we've got all of the information we need, which is great. All I have to do is just display the product data. So I'm going to check if is product in stock, because if it's not in stock, we don't want to show anything. We don't want to show any card basically. So I'm going to write HTML over here. We'll say div the class of product and margin bottom 5, and inside of this I can have another class, another div with the class of relative. So I'm not going to be explaining the styling over here. I assume that you already know how to style stuff, and remember we are using Tailwind. Okay, so this is going to go to the product. So get echo escape URL. You've got the product link. Okay, inside this we need the image. So we'll say image echo escape URL product thumbnail. Okay, and then I can just do echo escape HTML product title. Okay, so we got the image, and we're going to get, so this will be clickable, so the image will be clickable. Now we'll go back and check what do we have so far. So if I go back and check, refresh, okay, just a couple of updates. This will be just product and not product.php, and this will be get the post thumbnail URL, right? Because we need the URL here, and I'm just going to update that here. Yeah, that's fine. And now if you go back and check, if we refresh, there you go, congratulations. So you've got all of the image being displayed with the loop that we are doing. If you do an inspect element and see what's going on there, let's start from the beginning. So you have this product container. So there you go, this is the product main container. Inside of this you have got the heading, which is this one. You've got the products, right? This one. Then you have the query that we are doing, and we're looping through each of the products that are available. So we're using the get template part, we're getting the product template, and inside of that you have this product. So if you come over here, you've got this single product cards. You can see there are 10 of them. Inside of that you have div, the class of relative, and then you have link, which is this, and it's got an image. So we've got image tag and then product thumbnail. Actually, you should call it product thumbnail URL. So product thumbnail URL, and also you've got the image tag, and it's clickable, linkable. If you hover over it, as you can see, it takes you to the single product page, which is great. Okay, let's continue further since we've got the products being displayed now. I want to show a text over here that says sale if it has a sale. So what we're going to do is just below this link, I'm going to open a PHP tag, and inside of this we're going to say if is product on sale. Remember, we've already created this variable on top which is checking if the product is on sale or not, right? So inside of this, again, we want to write HTML, so I'll do closing and opening, and okay, and inside of this we can do span with a class of Again, I will copy the class. I won't waste time here in writing the class myself. So I'm just going to go over here and go to product.php, which is this, and then I'm going to copy the class. So I've copied the class and I'm going to paste the class here like so. Okay, and this would say sale if there's a sale on that product. Now this doesn't say absolute, so I need to say absolute. Okay, refresh. There you go. It's at the right place. What I also need to do is run the Webpack. So I'll go to assets and do npm run dev. The reason for this is because then Tailwind is going to go and check what classes have you used, and it's going to output the CSS of only those classes. So remember, we are not including everything from Tailwind CSS. That's the beauty of it. We're only going to include the CSS for those classes which we're actually using into our files. Okay, so this will do its job, and if you refresh, okay, that's fine. We'll fix the CSS part later. Let's continue. Okay, now what do you want next? So next thing I want is the product information, like the title and stuff. So let's do that. So I'm going to say div with the class of product info. I will have h3 inside of this, and again I will copy the class for the h3, just this one, and say class, and inside of this I'm going to say echo escape HTML and then the title. So we already got the product title, so that's what we're going to do. And if you go back and refresh, there's our product title, which is great. Okay, the next thing we want to do is basically have the price. So for that, again, I'll copy, in fact, let me copy this entire part and then I'll explain to you what that is. So I'm going to go over here, paste it. So what's happening here is that I've just got an h6 with some class. Inside of that, I've got span, and I've got some classes, and then I'm just echoing out the product price. And now if you refresh, you can see that you're getting the product price, which is great. Remember, I didn't escape the price, so maybe you can do wp kisses post over here. So you can see that it sanitizes the content for allowed HTML, so I'm just using that. And if you refresh, it all works great, brilliant. So because it returns an HTML, if you do an inspect element, you'll notice that it's actually returning the HTML, so we can't really use the escape HTML function. So you can see that you've got the span with mr2, that's that, but it's also returning another HTML tag which is span, and inside of it you have another span with the $, which is the price sign, and then also the price value. So that's why we can't use the escape HTML here. Next part is that we want to show the discount that this product has. So what I'm going to do is over here, I'm going to open a PHP tag and I'm going to check if not empty discount percent. So remember that on top we've already calculated the discount percent. So we're just going to use that, and then inside of this we're going to say span update in the calculation. This should be regular price minus sale price divided by regular price, and then multiplied by 100. Okay. All right. Okay, so we're just going to add the h6 tag over here, just a closing one, and then I'm going to paste a bit of code here and then explain to you what that means. Okay, so what we're doing over here, we're just echoing out the percentage, which is the discount percent, and then we're getting the values up to 2 digits after the decimal. Okay, and then we're just saying percent off. Now if you go back and check, if you refresh, there you go. Now you can see that you're actually getting the discount percent here, right? And then if you go over here, there's a discount percent at this point as well. This talks about, so 20 minus 18, so the calculation that we did over here was regular price, which is 20, and then sales price, which is 18, and then that comes to 2, and then divided by 20 multiplied by 100, that comes to 10%. Okay, so you got the percentage being displayed here, which is great. Next thing we need is basically the add to cart button. So again, I'll go over here, I'll paste a bunch of code and then explain to you what that means. So let's go after the h6, paste it here. So we have a div tag, then we have the a tag. Now, in order for us to add the add to cart button, all I have to do is just put the home URL in the link, then query in the query params I have to say add to cart equals whatever the product ID is. So that's what we are doing over here. We are escaping the URL, then we are printing out the URL. We are going to replace the root URL with the site URL, and then we are going to say add to cart equals the product ID. That's all we have to do, right? And then there's just a bunch of classes over here, and then we have the add to cart. Again, all of the code is available here onto the advanced WooCommerce theme repos. You can take it from there. So let's refresh. Now you can see you've got add to cart. So now you can see that you've got add to cart, and if you click on it, notice what happens in the URL. You have add to cart equals 205. If you click on this one, you can see you can see that the product ID is different. Of course, it doesn't show anything over here because we haven't really made that dynamic, but we'll do that in a moment. All right. So how do we make this dynamic, this number? So let's do that. So I'm going to head over to the nav, which is inside of the header over here. And then down at the bottom where it says this number 3. So let me go ahead and put that properly. And then I'm instead of this 3, I can say, so there's a function in WooCommerce, and that function is get cart's content count. So let's go ahead and use that. I'm going to say echo, and then WC. So look at this WC. So what is this WC? Returns the main instance of the WooCommerce, which is what we're doing. It's going to get the cart, okay, and then it's going to access the function, which is get cart content. Get cart contents count. So now if you go and check and refresh, you see that there are 62 of them. So I had added some of the products before, that's why it's showing 62 over here, but you get the idea. You can put a bracket over here, refresh, and now you can see that it's working. Let's add another product, and now you'll notice that it becomes 63. Add another one, it becomes 64. So basically, every time you hit this URL, like hit it, you can see that the cart count changes, and the way it knows is by the product ID that's been passed over here. Okay. So you've created the add to cart button, which is great. Okay, the next thing I want to do is basically move these SVGs into the asset folder. So we have got our assets folder, and then we have the source. Inside of source, we'll create a directory called SVGs. So this is your cart one. Copy the cart one. I'm going to cut the cart one, and then I'm going to the SVG, and then I'm going to say cart.svg. Paste it here, so that's cart. Next one up is the wish list. Wish list. I'll say wishlist.svg. Paste it here, and then the next one up is profile. So it'll be user, right? So we'll say user SVG. Paste the user SVG, and then finally the last one, which will be hamburger SVG, which is this one. So we'll say hamburger.svg. Okay, next thing we're going to do is basically just use an image tag instead. So we're going to say echo escape URL, and then we'll say AWT directory URI, because it's going to give me the path up until the directory, and then we'll say assets slash sv slash source slash hamburger.svg. You can give it a name of menu button, and this will be source svgs and then hamburger. As we have moved the svg, there are some of the other changes I have made onto this particular nav.php. I won't be going ahead and typing everything because if I did that, it's going to take a really long time. So I'll just open up this file, and the code will be present inside of the repository, so you can take it from there because it's an advanced WooCommerce theme development, so I assume that you should be able to check that. I'm just going to replace this with this, and I'll explain to you what changes I've made. So the changes I've made is I've added a bunch of class for CSS. I have removed the direct use of SVG tags and put them as image sources and moved them into the SVG directory like I've just shown you, and added a bunch of the IDs. I've converted all of these into images, just changed the structure a bit so that it works perfectly fine. Okay, so now if you go back and check, refresh, there you go. So you've got all of the icons being displayed correctly, and you've got the menu as well, which is great. Awesome. The next thing I want to do is basically add the pagination. So let's go ahead and add the pagination dot php, which is this, and I'm just going to open this file, and I'll paste this code and I'll explain to you what's going on there. So let's close the nav. Now nav is done. If you go to product.php, if you go to products.php, if you remember, we had created this template called pagination, and it's passing the total number of pages in the current pages after the loop finishes. And if you go to this template, which is inside of the front page, we have pagination. I'll paste the code here and I'll explain to you. So what we're doing is you'll be able to access the arguments that you have passed from the getTemplatePart function inside of the args array, and you can access the total pages like this, like a key of that, and then you'll get the values. So you're checking that if the total pages in the current page values exist, and if the total pages is greater than 1, only then show the pagination, because if they're less than 10 posts, then there is no need to show the pagination because the next page is not available, correct? We're doing 10 posts per page, and page equals the current page value. So then we're just adding a bunch of class, and then inside of div we are calling WordPress function called Paginate Links. You must be familiar with this. It takes a bunch of arguments like the base information, get page num link, and then we're passing the page number here. It takes the format, it takes the current page value, the total page count, and the prev and the previous text and the next text button. So we go ahead and add that. Once we do that and go back and refresh, there you go, congratulations, you've got the pagination. If you go to the next page, you can see in the URL it says page 2, and now you've got the page 2 being displayed and all of this information. Next thing we want to do is basically add some of the styles to it, since you've really designed the product. So I'm going to add a bit of style. So I'll start with styling the pagination since we are already on it. So I'm going to look for pagination.scss. I'm going to copy this style. I'm going to go to assets, sauce, create a directory called components. Inside of that, I'll create a file called pagination.scss, paste it, and then import it inside of the main.css. I'll say components, and then add import component slash pagination. Okay, and our webpack is already watching. Now it's showing an error because we haven't really got the colors, so we need to get the colors. Underscore colors. I'll create another directory and I'll name it as settings. If you followed along my advanced WooCommerce theme development course, you'll see this already. SCSS, paste it here, import it, add import settings, colors. Okay. Hope that error goes off. Yep, it did. Great. Let's go back and check. Refresh. There you go. You got a pagination done. Got nice hover effect. Click on it, and then you've got all of this thing going on, right? You're basically targeting the current class over here to style the current one differently. Okay, great. So next thing we want to do is add this value called max width inside of our Tailwind config, because right now it's looking pretty ugly. It's showing full width. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll go over here, add this value. And then after that, we also need to set this value inside of our front page max width 1280. I think we already did that. Let me see that. We go to the front page.php, we already have that, which is brilliant. So we just added some custom class for the max width. Okay. So now you can see it all looks great, which is it's 1280 pixels, the width of the site, which is perfect. I'm going to add a bunch of other CSS as well. So I'm going to add the CSS for the product. So I'm going to go over here and copy this bit of code, and then go over to my SaaS components, say underscore products dot scss, paste it here, import it inside of the main.css, add import components products. Okay, now let's go ahead and check. Looks great, perfect. Great. Next thing we want to do is move our styles, which is registering our styles into a class, because we will be registering scripts as well. So rather than increasing the length of the functions.php, let's move that into a class. So we'll say, I'll create a new file and we'll name it as advanced WooCommerce theme assets.php. Again, I'm just going to copy paste the code and then I'll explain to you what that means. Yep, so this is the file. Let's copy it. Okay, so what we're going to do over here is just adding a class called advanced WooCommerce theme assets, and then created a construct called setup hook. This is my custom function, by the way. It's going to call two functions, WP-enqueue scripts. It's going to call two functions, register style and register scripts, and hook onto the WP-enqueue scripts hook. Register style is going to register the main.css and enqueue it, and register script will do the main.js and enqueue it. You already know about that in the assets. We had the main.js, but we never included that, right? So now is the time we do. So this is being outputted in the build folder as main.js, and that's the path we have given over here. And we're also passing jQuery as the dependency because we need that for the menu and stuff. Okay, we'll get rid of that from the functions.php. And what we're also going to do is basically include this class. So I'm going to say require once, and this will be assets.php, and I'll say new advanced WooCommerce theme assets. Perfect. All right, let's go back and check. Yes, it works, which is great. Do we have main.js included? Main.js. Yep, it's included as well. Perfect. Next thing we'll do is we'll write some JavaScript for the toggle of the menu, because remember that we do have the M menu, but it doesn't do anything because we have to write the JavaScript for that. Again, this is not a JavaScript course, so I won't be going into the detail of that. If you're new to JavaScript, I have JavaScript courses like the basic courses, advanced courses, so you can check them out. So just go to menu. Yep, this is it. I'm just going to copy this file. I will explain to you what's happening here, but I won't be actually typing the code. So inside of the JS directory, we create something called components. Let's close the build. So inside of the JS directory, inside of source, we create a directory called components. Inside of components, we create menu.js and paste the code here. What this is going to do is it's wrapping inside of a self-invoking anonymous function. We're taking jQuery and passing that as an alias, which is $, creating a class. We're getting hold of the menu button, which is we're getting hold of the element with an ID menu button. So if you go over here, you can see this is the hamburger menu button. We're getting hold of the menu items, which is basically these items which are currently hidden. If I remove the height, you can see it's here, it exists, but it's hidden. It's not showing because the height is 0. Then we add the events. We check if these elements exist. We add a click event on this menu item. We check if it has the class is open. If it does, then go ahead and set the height to 0, basically hide it, and remove the class is open and set the max height to full, and also remove the class of max height full and height full, and then do the vice versa in case if it's not open. So basically, if it's open, close it. If it's closed, then open it with the help of the CSS classes. So take a look. We also need to import this inside of main.js. So import components and menu.js. Save it, refresh. There you go. Congratulations, you've got the menu working. So what's happening here, you can clearly see. So when you click on that button, notice that the class will change. Can you see? You've got these classes being toggled: is open, max height, full, and full. So you can see you've got the is open, max height, full, and height full. Okay. Next thing we want to do is basically add the Babel configuration file, which we missed in the previous episodes. So let's go ahead and add that. Again, I won't be explaining about this Babel file and stuff too much, just the basic information that it allows. So Babel actually allows us to transpile our code. It allows us to convert the modern JavaScript into a JavaScript that most browsers can understand. I have a full WEBPACK course that you can take. I have a full Babel course as well as WEBPACK course on Codeytek Academy. You can go and check out onto courses, okay, onto course, and you'll find that there. So you can check it out. You can check out on the courses. We have the Babel course and the WEBPACK course as well. So you can check it out. Okay. Now we just need to add the Babel file. So we'll go to assets and we'll create a file called .babelrc. Paste it, and that's it. And now that should all work. If I do npm run build, okay, so it's built successfully, which is brilliant. Awesome. Congratulations, everyone. So we've just built the entire product display along with pagination, and looks beautiful. It's responsive, as you can see. It works in mobile as well. Next page also is working. which is great. And in the next episode, we will continue working on this, and maybe we'll do the single product page, which is requested by most of you. And then you can see the bag is also working, and all of that stuff is working great. Awesome. So I hope you did like the video. If you did, please give a thumbs up and do subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. Do follow me on GitHub. My GitHub handle is imranhsayed. And thanks to all of the beautiful 567 followers. Thank you for extending your support. Please do star my repository to support my work. My repository URL is it's imranhsayed/advanced WooCommerce theme. So do star the repository like others have. And I'm going to see you in the next video. Thank you very much.